Hey everybody, it's Doug here, Doug Mystic Guy. I'm Board Game Geek. You can find me there. Anyway, I just wanted to bring you an episode about my experience at Bggcon this year. It was a heck of a lot of fun. Went up there on Wednesday. Didn't get there as early as some of my friends, but waited in a nice line with some folks. Got to talk to them and hang out. And when we got up there, we got some free games. Pretty cool stuff. The con itself was fantastic. One of the things that I liked about it was this. One of the things I love about Bggcon over something like Gen Con, or I don't know, I haven't been to Essen, but I've been to a lot of other conventions where it's mainly focused on the publishers and that displaying their products. One of the things I like about Bggcon is it's a game playing con, right? The point of it is to play games. And while they do have a great vendor area, where there's a lot of good vendors showing off their stuff, which you'll probably see in the images I'm showing you, it is really focused on the massive game room that in the convention hotel where we were at, which was I think the Dallas Hyatt. It was a really nice place. In fact, one of the things we joked about when we were leaving is I forgot what the sky looked like. During my time there, I did not leave the hotel. Went from our room to eat, to play, back to the room, played some more. It was crazy. But anyway, I want to take this time to talk to you about some of the things I experienced there. So first off, I had a lot of friends there that came up with me, so I never had a shortage of people to play with. But I did get to play with a lot of people that I didn't know, which was awesome, and I got to meet some people that I really enjoy seeing. In particular was Rodney Smith of Watch It Played. It turned out he was sitting right behind me during another game, so we got to talk a little bit, and then he came by and we talked a little bit while we were playing a game of Arcadia Quest, which I think is something that, as you know, he did a video on that. So that was one of the highlights. I also got to meet with Tox again from Crits Happen. I'd met him before at local conventions because he's here in the Austin area. Got to see some of the stuff from Arcade Wonders and bought Sheriff of Nottingham from him. Great game. But that said, I do want to get into some other things. So again, I met a lot of great people, but I want to talk to you mainly, which is probably what's interesting you, is what did I play while I was there, and what did I see while I was there that was awesome. So first we're going to go with what I played. I would say the most time investment played was definitely Shadows of Brimstone. We played a couple of sessions of that, brought some people in that hadn't seen it or played it before that were just at the con to play as well. That was definitely a highlight. That game is a blast. It's long, so you got to get over that part of it, but it is a lot of fun. So we did play that. I was playing the Sheriff in that one through the multiple sessions that we had, and the first one went. We kind of made a misstep in where we were going, not in the gameplay. We were playing the game fine, but we turned back and went another direction, and as a result, it took us a lot longer to get to the end battle than we had expected. I would say that normally that game runs us about 2 hours or so, not barring setup. Setup can be a little bare. I'm trying to figure out storage on Shadows of Brimstone. I got to store things in a different way, or it's going to be hard to set up and break down. But the game itself that particular game took 4 hours, I think. It was a long one. But regardless of that, we all walked away going, yeah, that was fun. And we even set up the town, did all that stuff and everything. It was great. Got to encounter this guy. He's pretty gnarly, especially when you got all new characters and people that haven't played before. Some other games I've played, I have my list here, I'm just going to run through, and one of the other highlights for me is we were walking through the demo room and I saw a game that I'd always been interested in. I like Kingsburg. I like Kingsburg okay by itself, not as much, but I like it a lot with the expansion it has. However, this one is like Kingsburg. It's called Kingsport Festival, and here, it'll be up here on the screen, and I do have it in my boxes over here. I'll probably do a quick playthrough of that because that was a great game. We sat down and played. We all walked away enjoying that game tremendously. It was fun. So 3 or 4 of us sat down and played. It was great. I actually walked away liking it better than Kingsburg because there's another aspect to it. Not just are you rolling dice and placing them and getting resources and everything. You're not building buildings like in Kingsburg, but you're taking control of areas of the town that are allowing you to do new things, like the town of Kingsport. Anyway, that was definitely one of the highlights for me. And I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to keep going through. One of the other ones, definitely a highlight, was Cthulhu Wars. And again, when I was talking about meeting people, I also met Sandy Peterson, who designed Cthulhu Wars, and got to talk to him about the game. I have to tell you, he is without a doubt one of the most passionate people about his game that I've ever met. He's great to talk to, and he invited us to sit down at the booth and play the game with the actual miniatures, the production miniatures, not the resin ones that they've been showing, but the actual ones. Man, I got to tell you, I do not regret investing in and waiting for that game to come. Cthulhu Wars was really fun to play. Of course, I totally kicked butt at it playing the Yellow Sign. But anyway, we had a great time. Cthulhu, man, he had all these units, and he went underneath the surface and came up right under me and battered the heck out of me, and it just felt like you were really playing that type of stuff. It was great. The board was beautiful. The miniatures were so heavy and tactile. It was just amazing. And so hats off to Sandy and his team for putting together such a fantastic game. I can't wait to get my hands on the copy that's on its way. I think it's in the boat still, but it'll get here soon. Anyway, that was Cthulhu Wars. Absolute highlight. And as I'm talking, I'm flashing up pictures, so you're probably not seeing my face, and not that you want to look at it anyway. But the other one we played that I really enjoyed was the Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I want to call it Suburbia meets medieval castle building. I don't know what the other game would be, but anyway, it smacked me. It felt a lot like Suburbia in the way the board was laid out and the way things worked, and pulling in the tiles. I mean, it was just a great game, a lot of fun. We played that a couple of times. Absolutely great. One of the things I really liked about it is that the puzzle aspect of it, of putting the castle together, everybody seemed to have a really unique layout as things went along. It was pretty cool, and you could focus on different things. It was neat. The other one that we played, sorry, I'm looking at my iPad, I have my list in front of me, that we played a lot of, actually, and just enjoyed immensely, was Hyperborea. Now, this one's been out a while. It's not brand new, and I actually had it in my collection. I brought it with me up there. But every time we sat down and said, what do you want to play? That came up an awful lot. So after that first one or two times we played it. So we played it a bunch. One of the sessions went long. It was late, and I think we just weren't thinking clearly any longer. But that one was kind of long, but still, probably these are all my highlights. I played a lot of games. I'm just talking about the ones that really stuck out at me that we played. So keep continuing on my list. One of the other ones that I think I thoroughly enjoyed, highly recommend, was Pandemic Contagion. It's a shorter game where you're playing the disease as opposed to the people trying to cure it. You're each a disease. And we named our diseases. I picked a not very inspirational name, the Red Death, because I had the red disease. The one we got the kick out of was the Yellow Drip. But anyway, it was a lot of fun, and that was definitely a highlight. It's not a deep game. It's just one we sat down and played in a half hour, which some of those were fantastic, especially after we played a couple of heavy games. We were eating or something and just wanted to play something light. That was a great one. But definitely a highlight for me. I didn't have high expectations of it. I didn't really have any expectations of it, and I was thoroughly impressed after I sat down and played it. So I highly recommend that. What are the other ones? We played, okay, there's some that you'll know because they're old games, but we still played them there. Battlestar Galactica, we had a massive Battlestar Galactica session, and I just love that game. And we had all but, we didn't use some of the expansion portions, but we used all the good ones, like the Cylon Fleet Board and Cylon Leaders, some of those things. I'm not a big fan of the Cylon Leaders, to be honest. I don't like them that much. I usually keep them out of the games I play. But anyway, that was a great one too. We played that for quite some time, and I will always recommend that game to people who like games where there might be a traitor element or something like that. If you're thick-skinned, or thin-skinned rather, I don't know if I recommend it or not. It's not as bad as playing diplomacy, where I know people who still today do not talk because of games of diplomacy. But there is definitely a traitor element. You expect it. Unfortunately for me, again, I ended up a Cylon after the second series of where you get your loyalty cards. I ended up a Cylon, and I hate that because I always end up a Cylon. Ugh, it drives me crazy. The other one we played that's an old standby, which I refreshed it on how much I enjoyed, even though it's an extremely cutthroat game, is I call it Cyclades, however you pronounce it. by Madagat. It's got great miniatures, and you play these you can summon these mythological beings, and you're trying to control. It's an area control type game with troops and bidding on the gods. Just a great game. We had fun with that. I tricked everybody into think I was losing because I didn't get priests right away. I didn't win. I came in. I lost by money. We had two of us had tied in the end, and everybody thought I was losing until somebody realized toward the end of the game that I had actually was very close to winning. And then some other people jumped on it and raced for the finish and beat me by, I think, 2 gold. Anyway, it was great. That was an old standby. Some other ones that I played and enjoyed. Oh gosh, we did almost a whole series of Arcadia Quest. I can't get enough of that game. That game's just a blast. It's simple, it's fun, it's fast-paced. You watch your characters grow. We are going, my local friends and I are going to continue that and finish our complete series of that. It was fun. Arcadia Quest, the miniatures are fabulous. When you have the big board laid out and you have everything there, it's just really, really neat. That was another one that we really enjoyed. I brought that one with me too. I don't even know that I saw it. Yeah, I guess they did have it at the Cool Minis or Not booth, but I didn't bother to look at that because I already had it. Anyway, and I already have the big Kickstarter stuff with all the add-ons. Everything's great. So that was a blast, a lot of fun. Another short one that we played at the end of the evening every night, just because it was a lot of fun. I do happen to have this one right here in front of me, is Run, Fight, or Die by Richard Lenius. Awesome game where you're basically trying to gather up followers and get them out of town as zombies are chasing you over the board. Great game. Another one that I highly recommend. The other one that I ended up playing and teaching to other people at the con that hadn't seen it before. And guys, you know, if you don't follow or look at games that are made by Victory Point Games, you're missing out. Because Victory Point Games, their slogan is "The game's the thing," I think is what it is. I believe that's their slogan. Anyway, something like that. But one of my favorites, and this is the expansion to it, is Darkest Night. We played a couple sessions of that. Darkest Night is awesome. I always love that game, and people pass it by because it's in a simpler box, doesn't have the fancy components that some other games might have, but the gameplay for a cooperative game is outstanding. Now, there are some challenges with it. You always have to play 4 characters, so if you're not into that, that's not fun. It works best with 2 or 4 players. 3 players kind of sucks because somebody has to control 2 characters. And some people don't like that. I, for one, don't like that. When I'm playing a game that's immersive like that, where you're kind of role-playing in a sense, I like to play 1 character. Or in the case of running a solo session for you guys, play all the characters and tell the story. But we didn't play with this expansion. I got it, I had it in the box, but since we had so many new people that had never played it before trying it out, I used the base game and the other 3 expansions. So somebody played the Monk. That was great. A lot of fun there. And then I played the Druid, which is one of my favorite characters in the game. It's a very versatile character. I love the Druid. What else did we play? Well, again, I have some boxes here, like Contagion. I picked it up. That's how much I loved it. I picked up Sheriff of Nottingham because I loved it that much too. But I'm still talking about games I played. Now, let's move on to the games I saw but didn't get to play. There was 1 copy of Star Wars Imperial Assault by Fantasy Flight Games in the library. So you can imagine the difficulty of checking it out. However, I did get to sit by the booth, and here's some images of that. I'll put up on screen. I taped a small snippet for you to show you that that game was there, and I did get to watch quite a bit of it. It got me really excited. That looks like a fun game, and it is exactly what it is. It's Descent meets Star Wars, and couldn't be any better. Really cool. Lots of fun, and I can't wait to see more expansions for that already, and I don't even own the game. The other ones I played, of course, you know, there was Kingsport Festival, which I don't think is actually out yet, even though I picked up a copy at the show. I think Fun Again Games was there, and they had a lot of imports for a lot of money. Unfortunately, they were charging quite a bit for some of them. But Kingsport Festival was one of them. It was reasonably priced. I picked it up. What was the other one? The Witcher board game, which I ordered as soon as I got back, so it should be arriving soon. That was really cool to watch. The board was beautiful. I watched the gameplay. It's pretty streamlined. I think you might want to be a fan of The Witcher to really enjoy it, but I don't know that you have to be. I didn't get to play it. I just watched it played. However, I have played the multiplayer online version of that. That's out there if you pre-ordered the video game, The Witcher 3. So I've played the board game online with other people, but I haven't played it on the board and all that stuff. So I get how it's played. It's a good game. Another highlight for me, Nations, the dice game. I saw Rahdo runs through, another guy who does video reviews and gameplay, which we probably all know. He did one on that, and it intrigued me, but I got to see it firsthand. Of course, the rules were not English, which didn't bother me too much, but the game itself was really cool. Really liked it. Evolution was another one. I do have it, and I brought it with me, but I was watching a demo. We decided to sit down and play it, so I should have had that in my games I did play list, because we did play that one as well. In fact, one of the things I love about this con is we were sitting there. Obviously, we set it up, and the guy sitting across the table from us on another table realized we were trying to learn it, and he spun around and says, "I can teach you in 5 minutes." And that's the type of thing that happens at BGGcon, because again, it's a players convention more than a displaying of wares convention, even though there's plenty of that. I didn't do any of the events there. Probably missed out on some cool stuff. I didn't do the panel. I would like to see the panel with Tom Vassell and Rodney Smith and those folks, but yeah, it is what it is. And so what else did I see? XCOM, the board game. I know you guys have probably all seen that. Watching that in real time in action. Super cool. Can't wait to get it. It's on my list, big time. One that surprised me, which I saw a clip for before I went to BGGcon, but got to see it played there, and I almost bought it. But I wanted something else more. I wanted Kingsport Festival more at the time. Was Colt Express, the one where you have little trains. Here, it's up here. A little train where you're bank robbers. It's a simple, fun game, but man, just looked like a hilarious blast. Of course, there were some expansions there that I saw. This one, for instance, the Voyage of the Beagle for Robinson Crusoe, which is one of my favorite cooperative games, was there, and also the expansion for Claustrophobia was there. I got to see that. That's also exciting. The expansion for Mice and Mystics, which I did not buy there, but man, that really added a lot to the game. I was very surprised. I can't remember the name of the new expansion, but it was really surprising. Had a lot of stuff with it. And then lastly, the other one I saw, which I ended up picking up, I've ordered since, is King of New York, which is the sequel to King of Tokyo. And a lot of you probably already have that one. That's been out, I think, for a short period. And there were so many others I could talk about, but just going over the show, one of the last things, I'm not going to show any pictures of it, but one of the last things that I want to talk about is in the open board gaming area, they had where you could reserve the Geek Chic tables, gaming tables. Man, those are sweet. Those are awesome. Someday I will invest in one of those tables when I have a formal game room, and I'm not sitting in my office with all my games on the shelf behind me. But those are absolutely fantastic. So, circling up, great con. I had to leave a little early, and not a bad thing that I did. I left on Saturday, went through into Sunday. I missed an earthquake in Dallas, apparently. It was a 3-point-something earthquake, but I'm from Southern California, so I'm pretty used to them. And then the other part the other reason it was good is I'm getting old, and frankly, staying up till 2, 3 in the morning to play games every morning was pretty tiring. I had wished that instead of just chatting with Rodney, I had the opportunity to play a game with him. That would have been great, and I think I'm going to try and hop online and arrange that with him at some point. He's just a super nice guy, and you just get that sense from him when you're around him. Anyway, this is my very quick. I'm trying to keep it short. BGGcon report. What you're going to see next in regards to BGGcon stuff is games from there that I played that I'm probably going to get on the table for you guys and do some cool stuff with. But I really had fun, and I highly recommend, no matter where you're from, if you can afford to make it to that con, I would say almost tell you to do that over Gen Con, or I don't know. I haven't been to Essen, but I get the sense based on what I've seen of Essen that Essen is again like a big exhibitor hall type show, like E3 for computer games, and Gen Con here, which is a kind of a mix of computer games and board games, etc. This is not that show, even though there's plenty of exhibitors. Don't get me wrong. If you want a cool game, you're going to be able to find it there. Everybody was there. Grey Fox Games was there, promoting a bunch of cool games like Run, Fight, and Die, and some other ones. And I mean, if you name it, there was Fantasy Flight Games was there. That's why I saw the demos. And I don't want to leave anybody out, Cool Mini or not. There's so many good ones. I don't want to leave anybody out, but it's all great. So anyway, that's my BGGcon report. So if you have any questions or anything, please comment. Let's chat about the con. If you were there, let me know. If you met me and I don't remember, I'm sorry, let me know. I really did meet a whole bunch of people, played games with lots of people I didn't know. Even though I just had my core group kind of around me playing, because we all enjoy playing games together. Which is funny, because you think we can do that all the time. We have to go all the way up to a convention to spend a lot of time doing it. But again, it was just a blast. The hotel was great, very accommodating. Like I said, I didn't leave. I got there Wednesday morning, parked, unloaded, put our stuff in the room, played games. Ate, played games. Did a little sleeping in there, hygiene, personal hygiene stuff like taking showers and that. But other than that, it was all about the gaming, and we had a blast. So, just running down my list again, quick things to recommend to you. Kingsport Festival, Shadows of Brimstone, Cthulhu Wars. Now I saw a bunch of other games. I'm telling you the ones I'm highlighting because of the enjoyment factor that I had with them there. Castles of Mad King Ludwig, Teeny Epic Kingdoms, Arcadia Quest. Teeny Epic Kingdoms, you got to put it in its place. It has a place. Very light, fast game. Old school. Cyclades, great. Run Fight or Die, awesome. I've already done a run through of that in my channel. Same with Darkest Night, which is one of my favorite games. Again, ones I saw that I cannot wait to get my hands on. Imperial Assault, Star Wars, The Witcher, Nations of the Dice game, XCOM, Cult Express, and the Might and Mystics expansion. Plus there was an expansion for Cyclades there too, which I didn't get a chance to look at. Sheriff of Nottingham, I'm missing that one. Sheriff of Nottingham, if you have a group of people that just likes to have fun, that is a great game. Highly recommend it. The bluffing and kind of makes you laugh. And again, I cannot recommend Shadows of Brimstone enough. Probably my favorite game right now. It'll probably change, but right now it is. Anyway, I wanted to get this report up. It's going to take a lot of editing, so I'm going to cut it off here and say thank you very much for watching. Expect my next playthrough. I'm not sure what it's going to be. It might be another round of Claustrophobia. It might be Darkest Night. I think it's going to be Kingsport Festival. I do have to continue on with both my Myth playthrough. Myth's right over here in a big giant box of miniatures and other stuff, and I'm working on I want to do another Shadows of Brimstone, but I want to figure out my storage solution first. I'm gathering things to kind of create a new storage solution with. I'll show you guys what I end up doing, because otherwise the setup is really long. Regardless, the game is fun. So anyway, thanks a lot, guys. I look forward to doing some more games for you. Thanks for listening to me ramble on about Bggcon. It was great. Hope to see you there next year if you are inspired by what I'm telling you. And thanks a bunch. Talk to you soon.